So I'm doing bioethanol from waste. So what is it?
Clip present.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So what's bioethanol from waste? So first the question is, what is bioethanol? So ethanol is an alternative to gasoline. It's made from plants such as corn and potatoes. Okay, the formula for it is C2H5OH. The boiling point is 78 degrees Celsius. And you can also make it from waste. For example, waste could include like potato peels or leftovers from the corn that's being collected for food, and even household waste and stuff like that. So there's a common mistake, which is that bioethanol from waste will also get food that could be given to people who are poorer in other countries. Like the main idea is that you can use food as fuel, but that food could be more important in other countries. It's considered as selfish, but if it's from waste, it's not. So you need cellulosic material to make it. So that's what I was saying, the plants. So it's from plants like corn, bamboo, potato peel, and lots of stuff like that. It can also be made from wood. So like wood factories with leftover wood can be used to create the fuel. So how is it made? So you have to make a mixture with whatever waste you put in. Then you have to add an enzyme to that mixture, so it breaks down. And then you heat it, you cool it again, and then it becomes like sugar crystals. Then you mix that with the yeast, and that makes ethanol, but there's only 10% of ethanol in the mixture you get. So you have to crack that mixture to extract ethanol, but when you do that, you also extract water at the same time. So you have to cool it down. Since ethanol is less dense, it's going to stay above the water. Then you can separate them. And the really good thing about this process is that nothing is wasted. So the water can be reused for the mixture. You can make, when you make methane, when you heat it, that can be used to make energy if you burn the methane. And you can also power the whole thing with solar heaters, so it's even cleaner. So the environmental impacts of bioethanol from waste, an advantage is that the liter of biofuel produced saves 3 kilograms of CO2, and then like other fuels would only save 2 kilograms of CO2. The residual MSW is collected, pre-treated to extract a biomass-rich fraction and used for biofuel. So that's what I was saying. That would only save 2 kilograms of CO2, which is not as good. Some disadvantage though is that the body grow crops to create bioethanol from waste. Like you have to use some of that crop, even though it's waste. You still have to use it. Could be used to make soil, or like the thing to make the plants grow faster. So you have to exchange stuff. You cannot get everything win. There's win and lose situation. So from economics, however, we found that it could be really expensive to set all the facilities. But the good aspect though is that we looked at the trash from most countries, from poor countries and rich countries, and we saw that in poor countries there's more plant waste. So it would be a really good idea to use that plant waste to make fuel.
This fuel could be used for transportation.
Yeah, transportation or even repowering facilities. So like I mentioned the wood earlier, so a wood factory could make whatever they want, like products, and then they use that waste to make more energy to power their machines again. So it's a sustainable process. So the scientific pros and cons of the bioethanol from waste. So a pro is that, like I said, nothing is wasted in the process, and then it does not it requires high and expensive technology, but over the time it pays for itself. It does take a long time though, and disadvantage, that's the important part of it, is that most car engines are not made for bioethanol, and bioethanol could corrode the car engines. So you need to make lots of modifications. Yeah. So.
Thank you. Oh, we're not clapping, guys.
Do we discuss?
Good job.
I think we present. Oh, we present first. Can I just open it on there? Because I have my notes. I don't.
Pause it or something.
No, there's like a...
No, go to incognito.
Yeah, okay. We'll just open it or...
Let me
Just go to the Google.
here. Then just use.
Okay. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Don't know if it's your password.
It's fine.
Make sure you get out. Hey, pause the video.
It's fine.
It's not.
Okay, you can see it in my
You know, close it.
silence. Oh no, it's filmed there. The whole.
That's what I mean. So you also your computer's filming you.
Oh no, it's
You know he's running out of battery. You know.
it's a can charge it. Okay, so my so my biofuel is algal biofuel. So
So that's algae, right?
yeah. Okay, so algal biofuel is a biological fuel that harnesses the energy-rich oil of algae, which is a diverse group of organisms, as feedstock, which is just a substance that can be used to later turn into fuel. And as you know, algae is similar to plant. They use photosynthesis to produce carbon storage products like carbohydrates and lipids, which is just the chemical energy that they have converted from sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. And they store these chemical energy in the form of oil, carbohydrates, and protein, which can be later extracted and turned into different types of biofuel. We also found that though there are macroalgae, which is like bigger ones like seaweeds and kelp, can also be used to create algal biofuel. The microalgae ones are definitely more efficient in producing the biomass that will be used. So before it is being turned into algal biofuel, the algae is first cultivated in either an open pond system, which is this right here, and then that one is a photobioreactor. They each have their advantages and disadvantages, but the overall similarities is that they're both very expensive methods. Yeah, very expensive. And after it's being cultivated, the matured algae are being harvested using these methods. This is where a strong current of water is washed down, so it's kind of just filtering out the algal strain that will be used. And this one uses a chemical solvent, which here, so the microalgae are in a substance that are often scattered around. So this chemical solvent is used to kind of collect them into a bunch. And this is method is called centrifuge, which is just a machine where you would pour the biomass that you have cultivated inside the bowl, and then it will spin, and then it will most of the algae will be collected to the side of the machine. So after it's being harvested, it needs to be extracted from the lipid content because there is a part of the carbohydrates and the energy that of the biomass that can be converted into energy, while the rest of the lipid is more unsaturated and unstable, so it's not going to be used for biofuel. And it either uses a mechanical crushing, so it's basically just crush the algae so that breaking the cell wall and allow the content within the cell wall to pour out. And it can also incorporate a solvent, which just makes the conversion and the extraction more efficient. So basically, here's the overall process of production. So first, algae is grown using carbon dioxide and sunlight energy and a lot of other nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. And then it will be, after it's grown, it will be harvested using certain methods, then extracted, right here, extracted from its lipids content. Most of the energy that is used are often recycled throughout the process, especially water. A lot of water are used because it's one of the products in addition to oxygen. And then after that, there are different extraction methods that extract different parts of the cell, which can be produced into biodiesel, bioethanol, biomethanol, or hydrogen, which is another one of another biological fuel that is studied currently. So one of the few advantages that algae biofuel has is that algae doesn't need fertile land like crops to grow. So you can grow it in salt water, especially considering how the fresh water is becoming scarce. So salt water can be used to grow algae. Algae can also be grown in sewage, which helps in the purification and wastewater treatment, because there are a lot of nutrients that the algae can benefit from the wastewater. So algae overall is not a competition to agricultural crops. For example, most of the biodiesel cultivated from corn and for example, corn is okay. Sorry, they uses up a lot of lands. Therefore, if most of the land used to grow corn are too focused on producing biodiesel instead of producing food, then the food price will often increase. That's one of the advantages of algae, which means that it can be grown almost anywhere. And it only requires carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and some other inorganic nutrients that can be collected from nature.
How long does algae take to grow?
I have it. It grows very fast. It can be harvested daily.
Exactly, like, what is it used for once it's harvested? Like, when you
So,
extract and everything?
when you extract the content, which is the biomass that will eventually be converted into biodiesel, bioethanol, biomethanol, and hydrogen. So the extraction process is very elaborate, and there are parts of the extraction where you can reuse the leftover and can be extracted again to create. Yeah. Also, algae does not have leaves or stem or roots like plants, so it focuses most of its energy on growing. Therefore, that's why it reproduces very fast. Sorry.
We'll pause, just go.
So, yeah, as I said,
Let him get his treasure.
But you still have what to cover.
So as I said before, the algae grows very fast, which means it has high productivity, and it can be harvested daily, and it produces around from 2,000 to 5,000 gallons of biofuel per acre per year, which is a volume that is far greater than any other agricultural crops, around 10 to 100 times greater. So there are a lot of benefits to algae biofuel with regards to environment and social, because it also creates a lot of jobs, especially when you consider the future sector of producing algal biofuel. However, it's the economic point of view that kind of slow down the research of algae. So a lot of people are often they're not aware of the positive of algae. Therefore, there are not a lot of investors or funds into the development and the research about algal biofuel. Therefore, most of the production methods still remains very expensive and very costly, and this is one of the biggest setbacks of the production of algal biofuel. But I think that overall, it is it's environmentally and socially viable. However, there still needs to be a lot of funding and government subsidizing the development of algal biofuel if they want to turn algal biofuel into a competitor to petroleum that we use today, because the price per gallon for algal biofuel is still very high. Do you want to just do all the presentation and then we ask each other?
Yeah.
You have to edit. I just put it here so yeah.
Is it blocking? No, it's not. It's not. It's good.
Yeah, it's fine.
And more jobs will be created, and you'll have
Okay, so I'm doing biofuels made from oily plants. And our topic question is producing biofuels from oily plants or a more really good thing to do. First of all, oily plants consist of like sunflower, canola. These are pictures where there's canola oil, safflower, soybeans, olive oil, corn, peanut oil, and rape seeds. Okay, first, what is biodiesel? Biodiesel is a renewable, clean burning diesel. Biodiesel can be mixed with normal diesel. So what happens? The oil extracted from the oily plants, could be mixed with the diesel. So it is compatible for different transportation use. There are some transportation which can use pure vegetable oil. So, but then some, as we all know, the way our cars or transportation engines are working right now is dependent on the diesel. So they're slowly mixing biodiesel in, so that it reduces carbon emissions and such things, reduce pollutions, but at the same time not like inconveniencing everyone else where you have to change the engine first. Yeah, I already said that. There are two types of oils where we can use pure plant oils when vegetable oils is used directly as a fuel, or waste plant oil where we use pure plant oil such as vegetable oil. That is already being used. So right now we could use vegetable oil could be used as a cooking oil, as we all know. And after that cooking oil, there's a process where we just need to take out the water and this. From there, we can use oil into the oil we use right now for transportation. This is the production of the biodiesel. Biodiesel is made through a chemical process called process purification, whereby the glycerine is separated from the fat or vegetable oil. This is, we haven't learned it as a class yet, but then we will soon apparently. And what happens is the group. What happens is just basically the group where it's just being changed from one group to another group.
Oh, I can actually explain this because it's similar to
Yeah.
they just use alcohol and then
Yeah,
they react
alcohol.
together to produce glycerine, and then the fat, the oil that can be used later.
And then yeah, this is the process here. After transfer, we just include biodiesel, that's where we separate the oil and the glycerine at the end. From environmental view is, let me go back for a second. This type of process is very we can use it as a renewable oil, which is plant material, so it can be easily grown in the lands. It gives lower carbon emissions and which are harmful to the environment compared to diesel. And this high quality biodiesels can be used in cars without needing a change of engine or the car design. Some vehicles can run on pure vegetable oil, like I mentioned earlier, but some will need a mixture of diesel, so the engine won't, there won't be a problem with the engine. Um, yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, this type of fuel isn't just used for everyday transportation like the small cars, but could be used as a heavy vehicles like trucks. But then the concept of environment is that lower it has a lower energy density compared to fossil fuels, so it won't last as long like the distance we come with the cars. But then it's a yeah, and then but the problem also another problem is that with the palm oil it requires deforestation, which harms the which breaks the wildlife habitat. Deforestation will be bad for the well-being and the carbon emissions. Community. Um, the problem here is poor regional stability. Cold climates are unable to grow crops, and biodiesel is very dependent on the oil which are provided from the crops. So we need crops. So example, if you live in a very cold area where it's plants won't be crops aren't able to grow, it won't be a very useful substitute as a diesel in that country. But if you're living in a hot area like Philippines or America, where the crops are easily grown, so that we can easily extract those plants and take the oil from it. Um, Also, the bad things sometimes some of the crops take a long time to grow. So, example, you use it, you can only use that much oil because we're gonna have to wait for that plant to grow again. But then the good news is there's different types of plants where not all of them take a long time to grow. The pros of it is it is sustainable, renewable, like I said, and it's natural. It has less greenhouse gas emissions. Um, yeah, it is non-toxic so we can it won't harm us as much as the pollution diesel produces from the economies. So this here is the how much we can get from a plant from castor oil. A single tree averages about 2.7 to 4.5 kilograms. So basically 1,570 kilograms per hectare a year. Coconut palm is 40 to 80 nuts per year, averaging about 7,500 to 10,000 nuts per hectare, which gives 2 tons of copper. Um, I think I think it's the one that the oil that used in the coconut. Yeah, and then these a few more. The main biggest problem for us is the same thing as theirs, us no algae, yeah. Is that it is very expensive to do the process, everything it takes. It is a very expensive process for us to extract, or as we need to as the process of it will take a lot of money. So like 70,000 tons per year, that will equal to 20 to 30 million dollars for it to happen. But in the long run, well, how it affects the future generation? It was since this type of biofuel depends on food, on like crops, which are food for us human beings. So it will make the food prices higher obviously in the future as it will have a lot of it will be used for oil. And it's good. It's also good for them as there's less greenhouse carbon emissions for them to inhale, and it's really more healthy than the air we breathe in now. And Yeah. Oh, but then there's with biofuel, there are a lot of different biofuels where the industry will be growing, which will lead to more job opportunities that are going to work and make money. Yeah, thank you. But then overall, I just say I think that biodiesel is a good in the long run. It's a very good substitute for diesel as it has a lot of benefits for us as human beings. The well being, like how the air will be less polluted as it is now, and then like yeah. Thank you.
Should I say?
That's a tiny laptop.
Okay, so we focus on biogas and so the science part of it. So the basics of biogas is that so it's a fuel gas made up of 65% methane and 35% carbon dioxide, and it's made from sorry. It's made inside a biogas digester, and we call it a digester because so we put waste inside, and this waste can be any kind of organic household waste, such as maybe waste from like kitchen, like when you cook, or basically anything that's organic. And like yeah, so you put in the waste in the digester where there's bacteria, and the bacteria kind of like eats it, and it gives out like methane and biogas. And this biogas, so yeah, you can also put in manure from animals. So this would mostly be effective in like farm places because they have animals and they have lots of like crop waste. So they would be able to put all that, yeah, you can put crops and residues in the digester. And then, so yeah, you need organic waste and the bacteria to make it. And biogas can be used for lighting, cooking, and many other energy needs. And yeah, the good thing about it is that, so you do need to add water to be able to like make biogas, but the good thing is after the water goes through the process and it comes out, there's a lot of nutrients in it, so you can use it to like water your crops to make them help like better plants because it has nutrients in the water. And also another thing is once all the waste goes through the process and it comes out, there's still like stuff when it comes out, and that also has a lot of nutrients and it can be used for very high quality fertilizer for the plants. So nothing is wasted for your process. Nothing is wasted during the making. And yeah, this is just a diagram of what you can use it for, like heat or like lighting, and it can also be used as transportation fuel. So I'm going to also talk about emissions and how it is for like the air that we breathe, basically. So if you use biogas digesters, that's an anaerobic digestion, which means there isn't oxygen used in the process. And so biogas digesters, they can help reduce greenhouse gas emissions, which is great. But so the first way is that it replaces fossil fuels, which produce the greenhouse gases in the first place, which is good because there will be less greenhouse gases for us to breathe in, and greenhouse gases are harmful to the environment. And also, if it is used in like conjunction with if the waste is also like stored under anaerobic conditions, it will prevent the release of CH4, which is a greenhouse gas. So biogas, I think, can replace other forms of energy that we use today. And I said it could replace firewood, charcoal, and kerosene because it's fairly easy to produce, and the process and like the biogas digester is not as expensive as, for example, like the Algal like tanks or whatever. So it is cheaper to make, and it's also a renewable source of energy, which is always great. And it uses waste. It can also be made from sewage, so it uses waste that would otherwise be like thrown away or just put in landfills, which is a good aspect. and it's less detrimental to the environment since there will be less greenhouse gas emissions. Like for the environment, it's sort of similar, like good aspects as the emissions. Like it lowers emissions, it's less polluting, and it's a renewable source of energy, which also doesn't use oxygen, so we can save like precious oxygen. And yeah, also it protects Earth's other natural resources. So one biogas plant, so a biogas plant is where you make this biogas. It can save 32 liters of kerosene and 4 tons of firewood each year. So that's a good thing because like trees also firewood is one from trees and trees are good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Landfills. They I'm sorry. Right. So some bad things is like to set up this biogas plant, some people cut down forests, which is bad because it causes destruction to the environment, and the trees, of course, like carbon dioxide to oxygen, which is good for us. And also, if there's, like as I said before, if you use waste that is stored under anaerobic emissions, it can prevent the like CH4 emissions. But if not, methane, which CH4, methane can be like emitted into the atmosphere during the production of it. And then when you burn it, like when you use it for like fuel, it's not very clean. Well, it is clean, but it's not totally clean, so it can release these into the atmosphere. And then for the economy, so the pros can be that there's more job opportunities because these take many people to like run the plants because they have to like put in the waste and you have to feed the bacteria in the tank every like daily, and then you have to harvest the methane, so that takes people and that's jobs, which is great. But there's multi-uses, lots of uses for it. So you can use it for heating, electricity, and power for vehicles. But then there's this case study where a farmer in the UK set up a biogas refinery, and it is expected that 2.2 million kilowatts of electricity can be produced from there. And this is a large amount of energy because it can power 175 homes, and also it can save 30 million or 30,000 euros in fuel bills for his farm. So it is cost effective and it can pay for itself in the long term. So also like some bad things about it is that like you can't really control the rate at which biogas is produced because it depends on the climate. Since we're using bacteria to digest this waste and give us the methane that we need, the temperature of the environment affects the rate at which we do that, which is bad because if the rate is like slower and not as much is made, and that can be detrimental too. Because if you spend a lot of money on it, then you don't make as much biogas. And in terms of community, it can be a very good thing in terms of health because there will be less sicknesses, and since there's like less emissions of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, it can lower respiratory and eye infections for people as well as animals with less pollution in the air. Also, no carbon or minimal carbon is released into the atmosphere, which means a healthier population in general. And then, since we use waste that would otherwise be in like landfills or somewhere else, that makes that boosts sanitation because there's less waste everywhere else. And yeah, here's some like facts, like specific facts. Schistosomiasis decreased by 99% in China, apparently, and tapeworm cases are 13% of what they used to be. Some bad things are that if if the rate of making biogas is less, then the farmers might not make as much money, and they might want to go to the city to get jobs or get multiple jobs, which is bad for people. And yeah, that's basically it. But in general, our whole group thought that it was a good like fuel to replace other things that we use today, and it is morally acceptable to produce it and use it, and maybe even replace other fuels that we use today, since it's good for the environment and people as well, because if the air is cleaner, people are happier. And yeah, thank you.
So how should we decide? Should we go in like environment?
Oh, yeah.
You want to go like that?
Yeah.
And then towards the end, we can discuss about
Just like the main question.
and also I want to talk about like how it would work if you were to take it into a more industrial scale.
Yeah.
Like instead of just because these I'm guessing these because like those all of the users are only based on small
Yeah, because
cleaning.
yeah,
It
because
is
Look
very
at it from
effective.
where
It
it's
is
actually happening in some place. So it's
like
how
positive is what might happen if you use it on like a large scale.
and then from there we can see which one is the best choice.
because it's very easy to clean,
But if we look from like different
yeah,
angles,
on a commercial scale. A lot of equipment will be needed and then a lot of funding.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go first.
So environmentally.
Yeah, just let's tell me your good
Well, the good thing about mine environmentally is that it lowers greenhouse gas emissions.
Oh, actually, yeah. Okay, let's just discuss it together. So
so what are some things that are not just like
we
doesn't lower greenhouse gases? You know, everybody does. But
so we know
what's some?
the pros because most of biofuel are trying to reduce
Reduce the yeah.
So we know the pros. What are our disadvantages concerning these?
For me, the main thing is deforestation, as some plants require the deforestation process. Yeah.
Everyone needs a large amount. That's in terms of
But I think for yours, like also since we eat like the plants that can
So
be
it's
used for
dependent on. So right now, it's gonna be. It's right now the biodiesel is dependent on the plants, where we are dependent on plants as well. So it might cause a problem. The food stocks, causing the prices to go to increase.
especially if we use it on a larger scale.
Yeah, that's a
during
problem.
my research, I also read info about how it creates a lot of controversy. If the crops are so focused on the production of biofuels and food preservation is unaffordable for many
For mine, I think the main thing that's bad is like since methane is produced, which is methane is like a greenhouse gas. That's the only like bad thing because it doesn't release carbon into the atmosphere.
You said it was.
It's as minimal which is better than like
Same mine when you burn the waste. Like I said, it's nothing. Which is not really good, but I also found that there was research on how to use the methane for beneficial ways.
So as for mine, so the alcohol rely mostly on carbon dioxide, which is a good thing. It also requires nitrogen and phosphorus is becoming very scarce. And if they will need to find alternative methods in supplying the phosphorus nutrients for the algal. But I think, as of now, the effect of algal biofuel on the environment is because it is essentially a carbon neutral type of fuel. So it's like it releases carbon dioxide that it uses during its growth. So like it uses carbon dioxide to grow, and then when you burn it, you release it. So it's like zero use. All of ours are
Yeah, but as of now, the best thing for the environment, because like Well, for me, my point of view, what I'm trying to find is like, what is a good substitute for the fossil fuel. Once fossil, as we all know, fossil fuel run out in just a few years. 2022. And I'm thinking like, what is which biofuel is the longest, could last the longest, that would be beneficial, not just yeah.
How about if you want to talk about that, you can talk about the oil spill. I mean, like how much of that, how many gallons you can store. You would say per
Well, remember, for me, I have different sources where different sources of
general kind of
I think 7,000 pounds but then it's very expensive. Like the biggest problem for biodiesel is mainly like the economy. Is that economic side?
I just want to show
But right now I'm thinking it's either, since like what you said, like it's not gonna what we use phosphorus, is it? Like phosphorus is like
so just to prove my
wow.
yes.
That's best now.
So as I said, it's not algae are very small, but because they're so small, because they don't have leaves, they focus most of their energy on their growth, so they can reproduce very fast in a short period of time, and they can reproduce.
Yeah. These are all my goals for the rest.
And they produce a lot of. They produce it here using 10,000 to 200,000 gallons per acre, which is a large amount. And I've seen some research concerning the biodiesel created from algae, and their energy content is very close to the biodiesel, to the diesel, which in the long term, if it was
7 minutes. 7
So,
minutes.
what do you think of that impact? But then, yeah, even though you have a lot of materials, but your other raw materials aren't like
Yeah, the only like worry, like everything else seems really like good.
phosphorus, though, is a very small amount. Yes, on a large scale, that would be a problem.
as long as you find
Is it
alternative source of phosphorus.
No, they haven't. They haven't.
But is that another like issue with yours is that like people won't fund it, right? As you said, like there's
People will
less.
fund it, but there are many websites and there are many courses out there creating this biofuel, and they have done a lot of research, and I think it's one of the most efficient plant type of efficient organism that can reproduce very fast and yields a large amount of oil that can potentially replace diesel in a short period of time. Because, like you said for yours, it is also very expensive in the long term.
Is yours running right now? Is that bad in place? Is there any competition?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But are there like small
Someone's right now, as of now, on biodiesel,
Biodiesel
so
has
there-
been a substitute, but there are
it's already like
still, I've read a lot of articles on this.
the guy. I thought she was just targeting me.
Yours is actually controversial because especially if we're trying to focus on if we use it on a large scale, the amount of like plant, like it would be really difficult to
Yeah, it
define
can be difficult.
between, like what is
Social.
for food and what is for like making that because like if like we have a lot of fuel but we don't have fuel for our bodies, we only use fuel for our bodies.
What's my my concern is that, like you said, we can grow the plants in the Philippines because it's a nice
Yeah,
climate.
with the other countries where they're more
But other countries cannot. I have a question for you. Can you grow plants in really extreme climate?
Because I can grow in any climate really.
So, like, could you grow it in really cold places?
If you have equipment, yes, you can. If those,
what naturally.
naturally,
No, but,
it's possible.
like you said, it's expensive.
If it's yeah, because technologies and systems. And I think one of my biggest is the system that we use to cultivate. It takes a lot of things need to be monitored, like the pH, the temperature. It can be grown anywhere with the right, but the temperature of the system needs to be monitored, the amount of nutrients, the amount of algae in that place, overcrowding of algae.
It's very like fragile. I guess.
It's a hard process.
So I think that
You have to be a lot of. You have to monitor it.
I think mine's like the easiest process to make. All you need is like a large tank filled with bacteria.
Yeah.
Like, grow waste.
Also, I saw that yours could be mixed with
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, what I'm thinking right now is
some of mine you could burn it.
yeah, right now,
Also collect it, yes.
right now, what I'm thinking is like board viewing. It really helps with our one of the main problems is landfills. Landfills, you guys just need empty waste, empty cells. So if you can easily have access to the landfills, slowly, it's not going to be really quick, but slowly
We can like
decrease the
what is
landfill.
the impact, or what is how would it work?
For mine, I saw the large scale. It was studied, and the best recommendation was that it's better to have small facilities that make biofuel from house next to the factory. To have one huge one.
However, how will it petroleum?
So the thing is, petroleum is really good because it can be applied to cars as well as factories and houses.
What are yours? Is it just
Mine is biofuel facilities, and I found that it's not that good because their engines are not way too high.
so yeah, that's one of the big problems right now. The way our generation works is we need our customers to go everywhere. And what's happening is now, if we're gonna move to your one yours, it's gonna be very
We have to
inconvenient.
transform our
Yeah,
transportation.
change our the entire world.
However, for mine.
Okay, we understand. We understand.
I want to invest. No, but like I said before, the energy
Yeah.
derived from the algae biodiesel is very similar to the biodiesel.
Yeah, but then comparison between us is different. Because the main the raw material is the algae, which is easily reproduced, made, so you can easily provide the energy source. As of now, I'm inside that.
Everything is there.
But there's like a lot of problems with yours, so like the money, like the funding, and the amount of like processes that.
Yeah, but once
All
everyone
the
gets into it,
all the
we
processes
can.
and the environmental impact, processing environmental impact, usages, they all can be done if they're properly done. And with the proper techniques and possible. It is now one of the most popular, or one of the most
If, for example, there would be like a large scale and people would fund it, if we started like using it like on a large scale, would there be like environmental like pollution or like
I
something
would
harmful
not
to
think
people?
so.
But compared to diesel right now, like I think there can be a very big difference from what diesel's doing to our environment, to our pollution. So
Because one of the biggest problems now is to the amount of CO2 that's in the atmosphere. And we don't want to, right now we would want either to reduce it or to keep it the same until we can find decrease those.
And yours, as you said, it like
Our base depends a lot on right now. and it can really prevent
Because does yours work with cars? Do you have to adjust the engine?
Oh no.
No.
Because the energy, yeah, as I said, it's balanced. So it's the same, exactly the same fuel, but a bit.
That's what you do. Go. So we're done with environment-wise. Okay? Environment.
What about like
So yeah, I think yeah.
They all reduce carbon
Well,
emissions.
And also, you can sell-power your house. That doesn't.
what does yours is it just limited to transportation?
No, not at all. It can be used for cosmetic.
No.
Cosmetic supplements, like health supplements, like fertilizers, sex stuff, or other.
You're so lucky with that.
like at the start, I was like, oh no, man.
No, it's not me. It's just.
The
I
hardest
know,
thing-
It's the fuel.
No.
The hardest
To be
thing
honest, I
is
think it's a fuel because I was surprised myself at the support. Because if I were to do biodiesel, I would look for.
yeah, because with yours it can also make biodiesel. So you need different fuels for different purposes.
No, I think the development of other fuels should also be funded because they might find a way to make them cost effective.
He's being disappointed.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, everyone listening,
Turn it off.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Okay, I'm now going to come around with 4 post-it notes, and can you just double check I've got them right? I apologise, I've got the other block have a different set or have more than these over in the class. Is that correct? We've got algal, waste, oily plant, biogas. Okay. I'm going to come around with 4 post-it notes. You're going to put the numbers 1 to 4 on each post-it note. Listening. So number 1, post-it note number 2,